So we have a icebreaker question for you.
Okay.
Would you rather fight 100 rabbit-sized horses or one horse-sized rabbit?
I would say 100 rabbit-sized horses, because you can't overpower a horse-sized rabbit, but you can overpower at least one, hopefully at least one 100-sized horse rabbit. I feel like the chances are better of surviving.
But there are 100.
Yeah, you just gotta, one at a time, just take them out.
Wait.
I know they're all, they're...
But they have, like, hooves and stuff. Like, I just feel
That's
like
better
that
than, like, rabbit teeth. Imagine, like, a horse-sized rabbit would have, like, a 2-foot tooth. Like,
That's not wrong. I didn't think about the teeth.
But you can, yeah, that's true, actually. Hey, y'all. Welcome back to VCM in the AM. I'm Taylor.
And I'm Ellie.
And we're here with Drew, and he's going to share his testimony today, so we're super excited to have him. Drew, would you like to introduce yourself to the people?
Yeah, I'm Drew. I'm a freshman. I'm in mechanical engineering, so that's fun. A lot of work.
I don't know if I'd describe it as fun, but
sometimes it's not, but
yeah, no, that's awesome. All right, so first question is, where are you from and how did you get to UT?
Yeah, so I'm from Kingsport, Tennessee. We got good representation right here.
Yeah, we're all three from there, if you can't tell by our accents.
Yeah, and I guess how I got here, UT my whole life I'd always wanted to go. My family's huge Vols fans, so. But I decided about high school that I was going to go to Tennessee Tech for engineering just because I thought it would be cheaper and stuff. But I came here and did my tour, and I loved it, like everything about campus. I didn't even do my tour for Tennessee Tech because I knew God wanted me here. And, did all that, like, everything with scholarships. God really opened the doors for me to come here. And I've really seen that just with stuff I've been able to be involved in, like the friends I've made and just how God's worked in my life. Like this was really, really where He wanted me to be. So,
yeah. So for some students, I know that like they, just picked UT on their own. Like there are moments in our lives where God gives us the choice to choose. And there are other times when you can just tell through prayer and just discernment that the Lord might be leading you to a specific place. I think both of those things can happen. So were there any like markers or things that you can look back on to say, like, this is how I knew that God was leading me to UT?
Yeah, it was really just kind of because I had been praying about it for a while. I really didn't know what I was going to do because, I only applied to Tennessee Tech and UT because I knew it would be one of those two for engineering. But, when I came here and did my tour, like that was really God saying like, hey, I just felt such a peace on the tour. Like this was where I should be.
Yeah, that's awesome. We're glad you're here. So that's cool that the Lord is just so, just sovereign over even like seemingly smaller parts of our life to just guide us. So that's cool.
Second question, tell us about how you came to faith in Jesus Christ.
Yeah, so I was saved when I was 6. It's kind of a bland story, but it's still, God's work in my life. So it's awesome to get to tell. But yeah, I was about 6. I remember I had a lot of questions for my mom, and we were talking one night because she would come in and read the Bible to me like before bed. And we were just talking, and I remember I learned a lot about what salvation was, and I was like I need that kind of I don't remember a whole lot about it, but I remember just feeling like how much I needed God in that moment. And I told Mom I want to be saved, and she led me through what it meant to be a Christian and and I prayed for forgiveness. So
yeah. It's a blessing. With Benji's testimony was similar in our podcast episode before this one. Just he described it as like a boring testimony, but there's nothing boring about passing from death to life.
Yeah.
No matter, like, you don't have to go out and get all your sinning done before you accept Christ. Like, it's a beautiful thing, and it glorifies Him in different ways, and it's just so sweet to get to look back at those, like, your whole life, and have been able to, like, walk with Christ just for a long time is a blessing. And you learn more about Him, and it becomes deeper as you get older. But there's a sweetness to that I don't think we should dismiss.
Yeah, absolutely.
Next question is, what is the Lord teaching you currently, or what has He been teaching you in this past year?
I guess with that question, just like really, like, how serious am I about Him? Like, am I giving up everything to, like, follow God? And I just, like, reading my Bible, like, I see it everywhere. Just kind of that theme, like when you see the woman at the well, like, she dropped her jars and she ran and just told everybody about Jesus. In Acts, like, when Paul, Paul had, like, he was in a high position, like in like the Jewish religion, and what he was doing was persecuting Christians, but it's still, there was that level of comfort and, like, acceptance in the society that he was in, and, like, he had all that and he gave it up. And, like, my quiet time this morning was about Matthew being a tax collector, like, one of the richest guys like in his area at that time. But he was stealing, and he gave all that up, to go follow Jesus. And it's just like, there's so much stuff in my life, like, my grades, schoolwork, that I'm so focused on, like family stuff, that it all gets in the way. And it's like, man, like, I need to, like, give all that up for God. So
yeah, it reminds me of the parable of the man who went and sold everything he had to buy the field, right? Like, that's what it is to chase after Christ. Like, you find this treasure, and you give up everything you had. Like, that's what the man did in the parable. He sold everything he had, all his possessions. So he gives up everything, and then he goes and buys this field, but he gains, like, so much more. And that's what it is to, like, yes, you give up everything, but you gain Christ. Like, you gain eternity with Him, and you gain so much more. So
yeah, it's like we're investing in our future, kind of, because it is sacrificing right now, but if you think about it, like, our lives right now are just a little piece, and, like, we have eternity to, like, worship God. And so, like, it's a very dumb decision, but, like, still we make it 24/7, like, to invest in our time we have on earth, and we can miss out on eternity.
Yeah.
The part you said about, like, it's hard when we're so busy at school, and, like, you have to make sacrifices in order to kind of live in an eternity, like, viewpoint. Like, there's certain things you have to give up in a worldly sense. It just kind of made me think about our last question, about how you were saved at a young age. I was also saved at a young age. So it made me think, how have you, probably since, I guess, coming to college, or what steps in high school maybe did you make to kind of make your faith your own and not make it your parents' faith?
Yeah, so I guess with the big thing, I got so obsessed with grades and stuff in high school, and it was just it was so easy to just be so focused on that. And I was known as, like, the Christian kid, and, like, I had a personal relationship, but I was just putting so much stuff before it. And I remember walking across the stage at graduation, and I was so disappointed. Like, I got that paper, and I was like, I spent, like, 4 years investing in this piece of paper, and, like, now that was it. And there was actually one time it really just broke my heart. We were doing grade exchange one day, and there's a guy I went to school with, and I had, like, 2 classes with him my senior year. And, like, we were talking, and like, I shared the gospel. He wasn't a believer, and I'm like, man, like, I had class with this guy, like, spent probably, like, 3 hours in class with him every day. and like never really talked to him or like shared the gospel with him. And it just kind of like all caught me off guard. Like, like if I would have been more focused on sharing the gospel, like I could have, maybe led someone to Christ through there and done more for the kingdom. So
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's definitely like once you get that urgency, it changes things in the way that you live, and yeah, sharing the gospel is a discipline, and you can't beat yourself up over those past seasons because you'll miss out on the opportunities you have in this present one. But that's a really like powerful story to share. Just a reminder to live on mission and not waste a season, but not that that's what you did. That's not what I'm saying, but you know what I mean? Like to just use every opportunity so that you can finish well and look back. And like, I think you're doing that in college now. Like as a freshman, like you have not wasted a day in college. Like you're on a mission field and you live on mission. I can see that. So, yeah, just be encouraged by that. Like you're using your days wisely. So.
It's just something I really have prayed about and tried to fix. And there are still days now where I like get really focused on school, and it's something that it's a battle every day. Like, like we have to pick up our cross daily. Like there are going to be days where like we're still sinners and we don't do that. So,
yeah. And you can glorify God through your work, through your schoolwork. There's a way to like kind of adjust your mindset to do it for His glory and, not yours or not for any other reason. So it can be an act of like worship really, when you do your task well. Like I told Ellie a couple weeks ago, like I do the dishes and do the laundry, like I'm doing this for the glory of God. And that's what motivates me to do it. But it does change like the way you live your day and the way you like leverage things. It helps you steward things better when you have that mindset. But yeah, that's a powerful thing to share.
So last question, and you can expound on this however much you want. How has your faith changed, and or what has been the biggest challenge of your faith since coming to college?
Like one way my faith has changed is I have tried to live more intentionally, like I was talking, like, be more for the kingdom, like more sold out. What was the second part? Sorry.
Just what has been the biggest challenge of your faith?
Yeah. I would say the biggest challenge has been like finding that balance, because like Taylor was saying, like you still have to do your schoolwork, even living for the kingdom. And so like, it's like when is too much, like doing schoolwork and, like even like going and sharing the gospel. If we spent all our time sharing the gospel, we're not getting poured into. And so like, you need that personal relationship with God. And so like, you got to find the balance. There's just so many elements, like to find the right, like, where you're going to give God the most glory and, grow and still be able to just like grow the kingdom through your life too. So like that's been such a challenge to just find like the right spot.
Yeah. Has there been like anything that's like helped you find that balance?
I think I've got a pretty good friend group, and like just being with them, like they're all good Christians. And so like when we hang out, like, we have like just conversations about God with each other. We've been able to share the gospel, and a lot of them are engineers too. So it's like, there's an element I've been able to study with them, just grow deeper in the word and get poured into. And then like being able to just share with people that we come into contact with. I mean, Benji is one of the people I do a great exchange with. It's so great just to have someone that I can go and, like we can pour into each other, but also go and, share the gospel to others and be able to pour out into others too. So.
Yeah, for sure. That community is important. You can't do it without the like accountability and, like you said, being poured into, and just having those like kingdom friendships are so important in college.
I was just thinking, because your friend group it just reminds me of mine back or when I was a freshman. I mean, I still have those friends. It just is different, but that was such a blessing when I came to college. They were all like, well, actually not all, but all but one were people that I didn't know before. So it was just encouraging to have a new community. And I feel for you when you say trying to find the balance of how much is too much. And even growing up in church, because I know you've experienced this too, just how many good things can you do? You can go to church, you can go to Bible study, you can go to the BCM, you can go to all these things, and those can turn into bad things. So it's in a sense of you just are doing those for the sake of doing them. Those can turn into bad things.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I just feel for you when you say that, trying to find the balance of being involved in your community, with the BCM, being involved with your church, still staying on top of your schoolwork, not being what's the word I'm looking for?
Negligent.
Yeah, I guess.
I don't know.
Not neglecting your
I was gonna say lazy, but that's a really harsh word.
Yeah, not being not neglecting your schoolwork, because you're at college for a reason. But yeah, it's just a hard balance. It's something new that you don't really experience before college. There's not campus ministries at your high school. It's just a whole new world.
Yeah, I guess kind of like we were talking, we can get so much into one thing. There was a verse that I thought of, Romans 1:25. They exchanged the truth of God for a lie and worshipped and served what has been created instead of the Creator, who is praised forever. And so that's a verse that's stuck out to me recently too. It's just that, it talks about that worshipped and served that which has been created. The Creator creates the stuff. So because it's there doesn't mean it's a bad thing. So
Right.
There are a ton of good things, our friends, even church, but we go into the mindset, especially if it becomes a checklist, doing Christian stuff. And it's I went to church, I read my Bible. At that point, if it becomes a checklist, it's kind of we're worshiping the church and our quiet time and not actually God. We just get so obsessed with getting that done and not growing our relationship with God. And that's, another thing that's been on my heart. Just kind of stuck out.
It's hard to keep the main thing.
Yeah.
When there's a lot of things.
Yeah.
That's true.
You're talking about the religious tasks, basically, obsessing over those and missing the heart of why you do them. With your quiet time, if you approach it as a checkbox, you'll miss this sweet time with the Lord, which is what it is. And if you approach reading God's word as just, again, a checkbox, you'll miss the words of God on the paper. And
we'll get the creation instead of the Creator.
Yeah. Yeah, I've never thought of it in that. When I hear that verse, I've always thought of trees and stuff, which I think is what he's leaning towards in the verse. But I mean, it's true. There are other things that have created, institutions and things.
Well, I mean, and I do agree with you, the creation, in the earth. But I mean, all that still, it's to glorify God, but we get distracted with it. And so that's kind of how I see. That's kind of how I've always seen that verse. Is just there's so many good things that we can get distracted by, and that's so easy in college, that we just get too distracted by the good that we miss, we miss God. So
yeah, I think you have to learn in that season to say no to things. I think that's a big lesson that I think everybody learns at some point in college, or should, because if you say a yes to one thing is a no to something else. So you have to choose what you want to prioritize and mentally decide, no, this is what's important in this season of my life. And that means I'm going to have to say no to good things so that I can say yes to better things.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's an important lesson that I think everybody has to learn. So.
Anything else?
I'm
Anything
good.
burning inside of you that you need to share?
Yeah.
No.
How did you and Benji become friends? Because you guys are a staple. I think I know, and I think I played a part in it.
Yeah.
But y'all's friendship is a staple of the BCM right now. So tell us about how you guys became friends.
Yeah. So, I mean, I didn't know really any of my friends coming into college. And so that was a great thing about the BCM. I got plugged in, but I didn't I didn't meet Benji till like a month or so into college. We started Great Exchange, and he just showed up. Like I'd never seen him before. He hadn't been at TNT or anything, and we just did Great Exchange together. We kind of known each other for a couple of weeks, and like he asked me to go like get dinner or something.
So sweet.
Yeah, I know. And so we go eat, and then just started hanging out. And then Brandon and Cody came in, and now we've got a whole group that just kind of runs around. So yeah.
I want to say this too because like, the BCM is very girl heavy, but the campus is girl heavy. So
That's true.
Before the semester started, we pray for you guys a lot as a staff. Like Rodney and Sam, like they pray for you guys so much. But one of our prayer requests was like, Lord, help us minister to the guys on campus too. Like,
my leadership team, like before they came on leadership team, is all girls too. Well,
a lot of
except for like 4 or 5, I don't know. There's like very few boys, so like
In and Outreach was all
girls. Yeah,
which is great. We have a great group of girls. Like we are so blessed with a great group of faithful girls that serve. But we prayed like, Lord, we want to make sure we're ministering to the guys too, and like bring us some freshman guys to be part of our ministry. And then
there's this huge
there's like 15 of y'all, and you're all named the same thing. I can't even keep you straight now. So I'm like, wow, that's an answered prayer. It's just so cool and just funny how that happened. But yeah, I think it's just your and Benji's friendship is just, it's fun to watch. Like y'all serve together and just can encourage each other and have that like Christian brotherhood. It's good.
College friendships are my favorite. Like the friendship stories of like meet cutes. Like the way that me and Natalie met. It's just
so random sometimes.
It's so random. And like even me and Melanie and I sat down for coffee, and basically she was basically like, you want to be my best friend? So it's just funny how things work. It's not everyone in college is like, hey, please be my friend. I would love to be your friend. It's just funny.
No, that's literally how it happens. Natalie did the same thing to me.
Sometimes it's kind of sad though, because like there are people, like just so many people searching like in college, and
yeah,
that's like I got so blessed that I found friends early, because I've seen a lot of people that they're still struggling to find like that group.
Yeah, there's a lot of lonely people too. It's important to remember that, and like to reach out to those people and not like close off, be exclusive, and like just we talked about this yesterday, but making your table longer, making sure you're looking for the one that's lonely and inviting them in. I think Ellie's really good at that.
Yeah, that's something like our group has talked about too, because we hang out a lot, and it's just like when we were looking at it, like sometimes we could just be like just only hanging out with us, and it's like we'd have some like maybe one of Benji's friends would come like from his floor, and like we felt like sometimes we're kind of ignoring them. And just looking at it like in the Bible, like when you had a guest come in, like they sat at like the seat of honor, and like they were there, and like the conversation was usually about them. And that's something we talked about, like if we have somebody like just coming in and just hanging out with us, like we don't want them to feel excluded. We want them to feel like like almost like we're focusing more on them, and like being able to pour into them as like a whole friend group. So
seems like we had the same conversation with Benji, but it was not. It was like we turned the podcast off and he asks us another question, and we started talking about that very thing. So
yeah. Now it's recorded.
Yeah. Now it's out there, so you have to do it.
It's your accountability. Everyone knows.
We do still need to be better about that. So it's a good way to stay accountable.
Yeah. No, that's wise that you can like see that. Not everybody can see that so quickly. So yeah. How often do you get made fun of for your accent?
I feel like I've gotten
constantly
throughout this recording.
I know.
Yeah, no, it's a lot. Because every time, like, if I'm getting on Benji's nerves, like
it comes out.
No, Benji will just start mocking my accent. I'm like, we actually got in an argument about it last night. It was pretty funny, but yeah, they all do it. Maggie likes to too. Maggie's from Elizabethton, so she's not got much room to talk.
No. You're from Mount Carmel.
I know, I'm not the worst from Kingsport. I'm from Mount Carmel. That's almost Rogersville.
That's where my mom's from.
That's almost Sir Goinsville. lots of coins. Like, that's almost.
Oh Lord.
Yeah. For me, it's like at least once a week.
Me
like
too.
being real.
Mine's like
being
daily.
real.
Yeah.
Mine is too. Well, some people like to tell me I'm like Isaiah tells me I'm more southern than him, and there's just no way. I don't hear it.
Than me or Isaiah?
Then
You're more southern than Isaiah.
I really didn't notice Isaiah's.
The next one is you and Isaiah. We're gonna put that one to the test.
It's definitely
who's
Drew.
more southern? It's
Yeah.
probably me.
Drew's
Yeah.
way more southern.
Dang it.
Mm-hmm. I got made fun of Friday. That was the last time. No, it wasn't even made fun of. It was just, I don't mind it. It's like, it's a part of my personality, I guess. It's
Can't
fun.
help it if you're from the sticks.
I know.
I know. It's funny too when they do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I kind of see it when they start doing it. It's like, all right, now it's my turn to like take shots. Like, see who I can make fun of.
I'll just like when people point it out, I just get more southern, and I'll start pulling out all of my like little sayings that I know. And
I taught you a new one the other day.
Oh yeah, wait, what was it?
Bush people.
Oh yeah, bush people.
You know what bush
I don't know
people
that
are?
one, no.
Really? I hadn't heard of it.
Okay, well, bush people. Can I tell that on here?
Yeah.
Okay.
We can cut it out.
I don't think it's bad. People need to know. Bush people. Bush people are people that just think they're so holy they got to hold on to the bush so the Lord just don't take them up right there.
Really?
I said it, Taylor. I don't remember what we were talking about. Maybe my mom had said it, and I was like, I need to know if Taylor knows that.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. We weren't talking about anybody. It was just, yeah.
Well, no, we weren't talking about anybody.
No, it was just the saying.
I needed to know if you knew it.
I know. My papa always called cantaloupe mushmelon. I always thought that was mushmelon. Mushmelon, yeah.
I think I've heard of that one.
Yeah, I've heard a couple people say it, but there's only been a few people that I've met that know what mushmelon is. I'm like, yep.
Cute with salt.
Or no, it's honeydew was mushmelon.
Oh.
It was not cantaloupe, yeah.
Oh.
I don't like cantaloupe or honeydew, yeah. I like watermelon, that's about it.
I like cantaloupe with salt on it.
Oh, my grandfather did that.
My Nana used to make us that. I mean, it's just
she cut it up.
It was a whole thing.
Hey, thanks for listening to BCM in the AM. We hope you enjoyed this podcast.
If you're a college student at UT and want to get involved with our ministry, we're located at 1811 Melrose Avenue, and we would love to meet you.
Well, I don't remember what I said.
Something about mushmelon.
No, we talked about mushmelon. What's that? What's the thing that you just said?
Pawpaws.
Is it
pawpaw trees?
Is it like
trees? Are they like crab apples? Is that what it is? A little like
they're brown green? With green on it.
Crab apples probably.
Is it a crab apple?
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
I call them pawpaws.
We finally figured out what a pawpaw was.
It's not a fig.
It's not a fig.
What the heck's a crab apple?
It's a pawpaw.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Crab apple. Let me see if I can pull it up.
Pawpaw.
Crab apple. Like, these are a little more red.
I think the reason we called them that was because I'd go over to my nana's
I was about
house,
to say, was it?
And my pawpaw would.
Those, I mean, they look like apples.
What's the inside look like?
I don't know what an apple, I guess.
I don't know what the inside looks like.
And we'd walk down to this pawpaw tree with my pawpaw, and so I think he just called it a pawpaw tree because he was.
And
we'd pick them and eat them. Yeah. We have different memories from the South. Like that's the mountain.
I've never heard of it.